Hello, I'm probably missing something major that I haven't figured out yet because I'm running around all... I figured out there's something fairly negative in both of my reef tanks, my quarantine and the other one. It's not fish disease, but it's also not good. It actually makes me wonder about other things. Oh good, Nick's here because this way I don't have to type it all to Nick. Nick lives vicariously through my reef tank, so it's kind of his tank too. So, oh my gosh, weird stories. Like, the ocean is so weird, and stuff that comes in on our coral is so freaking weird. So if you want to know, before I get started, on what I'm talking about, look up digitate hydroids, digitate hydroids, if you want to like have a visual of what I'm talking about now. So you guys knew, let's see, let me get my pencils, so I'll try to work while I tell my random fish story. Also, before I get started, actually I should do this speech first, actually a couple announcements. First, if you are looking for just a straight colored pencil tutorial or any other medium, this is not likely going to be what you're looking for. It can be fun, stay and hang out with us, but these aren't just straight lessons. If you want my straight lessons, that is what Patreon is for as little as here's my speech. For as little as $4 a month, you get access to all of my longer tutorials. There are over 300 available immediately when you sign up, and a new one each month. There's also, not each month, 4 new ones a month, a new one each week, and there's some different reward tiers, so if you're interested in that. And I do want to show you too the other thing. Oh, so anyway, these live streams, I'm getting ahead of myself. My brain is all over the place because I just like 15 minutes ago figured out what this thing was in my tank. Tanks, it's in both. Where was I going with that? So Patreon, these live streams are where we get to hang out and chat about everything. My animals, everything while I'm drawing, sort of while I'm drawing. So there is that. The other announcement I have, I'm super excited about, and this actually kind of goes with Patreon. I came up with this design for, not this next month. So those of you who signed up with the higher tier on Patreon, and Nick who can't because Subscribe Star is having an issue, so I'm just sending you the same thing. But I'm going to be sending, or for the highest tier you get stickers. So I designed a sticker with chicken that says don't drink the paint water. Well, I used that same design, so the sticker's a little bit different, but pretty much the same. That you guys will get that not this coming month, yours. If you signed up in September, it goes out in October, September. It's always not that month behind on purpose. That's not me being late. It's supposed to be that way. So I spent $700 last night on this to print. Oh my gosh. Postcards, greeting cards, or the cards that go for that, the stickers. What else did I order? I ordered new business cards, and I'm so dumb. I spent $75 on these business cards. You know what I didn't include? My website. I'm a freaking genius. I mean, it's not the end of the world because I do have my email on it, which is lisa@lachri.com. So it can kind of be a funny thing at Aquashell. I can be like, here's my website because I'm dumb and didn't actually include that on there. I put everything else on there. I've got MeWe. I'm an idiot. And I was just doing too many prints last night and just missed that. So anyway, I ordered that. I ordered a big banner for Aquashell. Super excited about all that. And what else? Yeah, so we got that done. I woke up this morning, this has just been a day. I woke up this morning to an overdraft fee, and my husband going, did you accidentally use the wrong account to pay for not my art account, but our joint account? He's like, my check is half gone. Yeah, and we also have a $34 non-sufficient fund fee because PayPal, my normal credit card for my art account, expired last month, and I didn't update it with the new one. And so it automatically defaulted to the wrong account, and then I got a fee before it even notified me that because I just transfer right away so that I can't get fees. Yeah. It's been and so I woke up with that and couldn't fall back asleep because I needed to fix that. It was just, it's been a day. Today has been a day of it. Not like end of the world stuff, just kind of like, wow. So anyway, moving on after all of that, I did get, this is Chicken's new merch, his first merch, Don't Drink Paint Water. So I'm really excited about that. Go to lachrimerch.com. I've got that available in sweatshirts, t-shirts. There's a really cool, it's called a pint glass. I always call those beer glasses. I don't know, my dad has one. So I'm gonna have to get him one with chicken. But they have there's some really cool things over in the merch store now. So check that out, lachrimerch.com. I've got it. As soon as I get paid, I'm ordering myself that sweatshirt in that color. I'm really excited. I'm actually still waiting for my last one. The post office my last sweatshirt. It came from UPS, transferred over to USPS, and that's where it disappeared. So I'm still waiting on the last one with Murky. But anyway, I'm excited about the chicken sweatshirt. Let's see, are you hearing buzz in the background? Oh, how bad is it? Hold on. Let's see, is that any better? I'm gonna check, I'm gonna pull this up on my other computer and see if it's doing it. Actually, I'll probably just do it on here. Well, I don't know what will be more annoying for you guys. Actually, I'm gonna mute myself for a second. I think that would probably be the easiest way, and see how bad this is, if it's something I can fix. I have absolutely no idea why that is happening. Let's see. Is it still? I don't even know where I would begin to fix that because I don't know what's causing it. And no, Pamela, I can't call them and add my website because if they're already, they print so fast with VistaPrint, the turnover is really quick, so it's like, too late. I should have, if I would have caught it, even if I would have caught it last night, I think it would have been too late. It's not a big deal. It's something that I'll be able to joke with people about when I handle my card. Like, I'm dumb. Let me circle the website portion of my email address. It's not bad, just a soft white noise. There's nothing in here that should be causing that. That is unfortunate. This computer, I have had more problems. It's an MSI, so I paid up the rear for it, and I have had more problems with different parts of it that I shouldn't be having problems with, that I don't have problems with other ones. I don't think, yeah, it sounds like a waterfall. There's nothing in here. I'm listening, it's like there's nothing. So unfortunately, this may end badly. Hold on. Did that make any difference? Yeah, I can see visually the white noise, and there is nothing I can do. If this computer goes down, I cannot afford to get a new one. This is going to suck if it starts having these audio issues again. You guys remember that a couple months ago? We had to stop doing live streams over here. You know what? And is it louder now, or the white noise is louder now? You know what's interesting is my computer did another update, and that's when I had problems last time. It forced the update because yay Windows 10. And this one started having issues, and now it's doing it again. Crap, do we need to go clear out files? This laptop doesn't have anything on it. I can't imagine there being anything to clear out because I've been using the same, like, it's only for live streaming. It has a few files on it so I can like pull up images, but that's it. It's empty, so it's not bad. Okay, well, I guess we'll keep going. I apologize. But, oh, and then I'm going to unplug stuff. That's really frustrating. I have a feeling it's from the update because it forced, last time I turned this computer off, it forced an update, and it wasn't even like, do you want to? I didn't. It just did it on its own, and that's when I had problems last time. And yeah, lovely. That's really annoying because I paid, this computer was so, MSIs are stupidly expensive, so that I could do good live streams with them, and I have had, anyway, just a bit. I'd leave it, can hear fine. That's just a bit of background hiss. So annoying. I wonder, hold on. There are, do I want to mess with stuff? Desktop, easel. I'm almost desktop audio. Why? Hold on. Status. Just checking something really quick, but I don't think that that's doing the thing. No, because it says everything is active. I'm just wondering if it's trying to pick up two things at once. That's all I wanted to check. That's all I would mess with right now. Anyway, okay. I apologize. That's just annoying. So we'll pretend there's a pretty waterfall in here. Or a fan blowing. There's also not. I am just going to have to wait till this updates. Anyway, so on with, yay, we got chickens, some new merch. Let's go ahead and, oh, not that one. Wrong button. Let's see. So we've got the chicken sweatshirt. Let's remove that. And everything is good there. We've got now the easel. Okay, I think we're ready to actually art. Yeah, you will tune it out. You're right, Tara. It's just, it's annoying when I spend as much money on equipment to have something like that happen. And it's like, and I know it's from the update. Something about this computer, and when Windows does an update, there is something that just screws up audio. I still can't use my wireless mic on this one. So that, I think, is a hardware issue on this one. But it's weird because the fuzz and the problems we had with this last time went away, besides not being able to use my wireless mic, which freaking sucks. That's what I bought it for. Like, this, I don't see myself ever buying another MSI. If I paid that, it's kind of like Apple. If you pay that much and then it has the problems that Apple has a tendency to have, and before you're like, mine doesn't have a problem, I know enough that do. It's not, I don't find them to be that much better than Windows. But anyway, you pay that much, I expect, that's why I'm like, I'll stick with Windows. I'm not going to pay that much if they all have some issues. So I just got so many thumbs downs from Apple fans. Calm yourself. You're allowed to like it, and I'm allowed to think it's crap. But it's not really crap. But I just push people's buttons. That's what I do. So moving on, the next bit of interesting stuff. I'm looking in the tank today, and I had a little bit of time before the live stream because I was actually ready kind of early since I woke up early dealing with all the, I've also not had enough sleep, so my mind's going to be all over worse than usual. I'm looking up, and I keep meaning to look up and see if I could find an ID on this worm that I had in my tank. I thought it was the spaghetti worm. I'm like, it's fuzzy. What's a fuzzy worm? So I'm looking up online. I looked up last night, didn't find anything. Yeah, I found that out, found it pretty quick today. Digitoid hydroids. And they essentially, why am I pulling those out? One of these is good. They sting corals. They are a little, some of mine are long, but most of them are like tiny, tiny. And they wave in, like there's a little foot it sticks to, in my case, in the nano tank, my coral quarantine, it's sticking in the sand, it's sticking on rock, it's sticking on snail shells, and it just waves around and stings the crap out of anything it touches. So I think the problem I've been having with snails not living well they're not even making it out of quarantine. And I'm like, it doesn't make sense. Like one snail made it out of quarantine last time. So it's not a water quality issue where that one wouldn't have made it. What is it? I bet these are stinging it. And I guess these will really hurt people's hands too if it stings a person's hand. So I've got to, I wear gloves. That's why I never would have been stung. I never would have noticed. But yeah, they're going crazy. And so from what I read, they feed on like they're filter feeders, and they feed mostly on phytoplankton, or like if you're broadcast feeding coral food and stuff. I don't do that, but what I do feed, I've been dosing an A and B something or another, Red Sea product. And I dose heavily phytoplankton to counter algae, or to try, because they say it will. I don't know that it does. That's definitely to be seen. But the crazy thing is the explosion, like these have exploded. So from what and I only had like 15 minutes to quickly read people's experiences, so I'm going to need to look more into this later. But I looked at the big tank, and I'm like, sure enough, they're in there too. The corals, they have a few mushrooms that just weren't opening all the way. They were right next to them. So they're being stung, so they're just like, we're going to stay as tiny as possible and angry. So I moved them away from the rock that seemed to be more obvious. Some of the quick things I noticed or was reading about that you could do to solve this problem. The little tank, there are thousands and thousands. So sitting there and like trying to kill them individually with tweezers, which some people do, not even possible in there. My big tank, I can do that. Another theory, some people would take super glue, and you can glue it over the worm. That will work. There are medications you can use, but they're not really reef safe, so I'm not applying that to the reef. Another one, there is a flatworm, or like a nudibranch that you could put in there. That's a possibility, and being that I have as many as I do, that may be a way to go. But some people claimed that sea urchins would eat them. And if that's the case, I was going to get an urchin anyway. I was just holding off because I wanted to wait until I glued my coral in place. Sea urchins are the funniest critters. They will pick up your coral frags and wear it like a hat and just carry it around your tank. So you can put your coral frags wherever you want in the morning. They're going to be all over the place because it moves them all. They'll pick up a snail and carry a snail around. Like, that's what urchins do, which is hilarious. So yeah, that is what I have been dealing with on the tank, and I just found that out. But there's a good possibility that if I stop or back off with the phytoplankton, that they may die off. It should at least make a difference of the numbers. My small tank especially, it's no big deal. I do worry about it stinging the fighting conch and the Sarah snails those. They're in the sand, and these are in the sand, and I'm like, they sting them, and so that I think that's been my problem with some of these corals. So, I mean, good that you found the problem, but not so great because it's not an easy thing to get rid of. Like certain parasites and certain things you can just dose in the tank and it can take care of them, but not the case here. And then the other thing that kind of sucks, one of the shrimps that sometimes will work is called a peppermint shrimp, but I already have in that small tank. I just bought new cleaner shrimp. They don't always mix well. Sometimes they'll fight, and this is such a small enclosure, I wouldn't mix them. So the big tank, I could probably get away with that, but I currently can't quarantine shrimp because my other shrimp, it's a whole like, wow, that didn't work out as planned. So yeah, there is my story. Jason, yeah, low numbers have been, I think people are sick of this piece. I've dragged it on, we're on 17 or something, like it's insane. I suspect people are sick of it, and a lot of people went back to work, back to school, back to, you know, life. So I think those all played a role in why there are not many people on these live streams, but yeah, I need to finish this one. Marcia said, hi Lisa, once said to say hi when using messaging, exactly how do you type? I think you just did. Hi. Let's go. Clark Finder said, if you notice the background noise continues when you aren't streaming, you could check OBS on your mic settings, filter noise suppression. That might be a fix. Yeah, there might be a workaround for, that's what I wanted to see if there was a quick one, but there might be another workaround to reduce that. So it's something that I'm going to have to play with, not while you guys are sitting here. So definitely, it's so frustrating. But it might just go away on its own too, because that's what happened last time. Even with this mic, this happened. It was worse though. This isn't as bad, but yeah. Taylor said, I just finished the colored pencil drawing. I was wondering if there's anything I should put on it to seal it before framing it with glass. I did use OMS on it. I wouldn't. I don't seal, unless you're using Prismacolor. Prismacolor does make their own version of something to seal it. It's supposed to, that is not dark enough. It's supposed to help tone down the wax bloom. But normally with colored pencil piece, now this I will seal because it's kind of powdery. If I run my hand across it, there's going to be powdering on my hand because I'm working on sanded paper and using powder blender. This will be sealed with something specific. But if I'm working on like a hot press, like the cheetah that I just did, normal colored pencil, OMS, no, I am not sealing that with anything, doesn't need it. And some sealers, it may work okay for one brand of colored pencil and not another. You might end up with issues where it, somebody showed a photo years ago in one of the colored pencil groups. They had used something that said it was for colored pencil, and it didn't play nice with Faber-Castell polychromos, and it left like it bubbled up. It ruined the piece. There was no fix for it. I mean, it absolutely ruined it. So always test it if you are going to use one, but it's not needed. Eo said, chicken merch is so cute. Have you thought about putting Gibson and Wade on merch? Yeah, we definitely need Bad Cow merch for sure. Gibson probably, I'm not sure what that will be. Maybe him throwing up a dryer sheet on the floor. But Bad Cow, absolutely. His will likely be eating a paintbrush. Okay. So yeah, that is I'm like sitting here going, I want to go look up more about the digitate hydrate. So if one of you guys wants to look that up and just leave it in chat for me, you know, keep me going there. But yeah, I cannot believe how many there are. Now that, and you look, you'll notice them more at night with the flashlight. You notice a lot of stuff in the tank with the flashlight. I just can't believe how quickly. But it kind of makes sense. I've been dosing, if they feed mainly off plankton, and I've been dosing phytoplankton so heavily, I am feeding the crap out of them, so their numbers are going to explode. Being that I'm going to stop doing that now, they'll probably slowly die off. It just sucks because they're stinging stuff in the meantime. So like anything around corals, if I see it on a coral frag in the coral quarantine tank, I can just take super glue over it. But I can't do that in the sand, and that's where the snails are, and I like don't have anywhere to put. I can't move the snails into the big tank, which has less hydrides. It still has plenty, but it has way less. I can't put them in there for another 3 weeks on, I think, on the fighting conch. He'll be out of quarantine, and I'm like, I'm not going to risk bringing fish disease. The reason that the corals being the coral and the snails, the main reason that I personally quarantine. Some people quarantine for parasites on like zoas and stuff. I don't know if I'm good enough to catch that. So while I am looking for it, that's not my main goal there. My main goal is to make sure I'm not getting fish disease in, so like ick or velvet, Brooklynella or whatever. So that is more of a concern to me than snails, but it still sucks. Let's see. Yeah, Nick had said varnish works great on colored pencil and sanded paper. Maybe I'll try that on this piece. I may talk to you more about that because I know you linked me. I don't even remember. So yeah, maybe. Kara said, could you seclude it with Perspex box or something, or do they swim around? The worms, I don't know. They reproduce. You can have one worm and it will reproduce all on its own. And so I'm sure something's getting into the water column. I wonder if that's why it's not as bad in the big tank, because I've been dosing heavier in there. But if they started in the little tank, I'm kind of like troubleshooting. I run a UV sterilizer on the big tank, so that might, I'm not sure if it's actually cutting down on that there. But as far as the worms, no. There's so many. For putting the snails into a little box, again, too many, and they need algae to eat, and so I would basically be starving them if I kept them in a little box. Unless I could get them to eat seaweed in that box. But I don't know how you would get flow. Because the type of snails I have are the ones that want to go in the sand bed, like the conch. So I'm not sure. I'm really not sure right now. Audrey said, can colored pencil be used on top of pen pastels? It can, and it is a great mixed media. Where I've done several of them. It works really well. Leisha said, I looked them up. They look like they are luminous. My freshwater tank has an explosion of pest snails. Always something difficult to combat. You know, and it's funny with the reef tank. That's something that I had read, and I've definitely found it to be true. They, like peach color, they say that you're basically just always trying to solve a problem. It's never like really smooth. And that was certainly, once I realized that and really accepted that, that made things easier. You'll see Aptasia pop up. I've got, there's a product called F Aptasia. It's Frank's F Aptasia. That stuff is amazing. Like, that is the best stuff. And that could potentially work too if I squirted it over the areas, and I may do that today. I'm not sure if I'm going to go with super glue or that. I'll probably try both and see which works better. Either way, you're encasing it so that specific spot can't live. And so in the big tank, there's a couple spots I want to do that on. Also noticed a couple of spots of bubble algae while my zoas were shut today on the big tank. But, one of them I knew about, one of them I had no idea. But there are some things I could do to at least keep it away from the coral in some spot. I have one frag that it is covered in zoas, and the zoas don't seem too bothered by it, but these little worms are all over it. And so I'm thinking super glue around the base. You just have to be careful to try to not get it on the coral. I wouldn't use F Aptasia on that, because that I have found even if it touches the zoa at all, it will kill that polyp. The rest of the frag plug was fine, but yeah, there's a few things I can try. The urchin, I like the idea of the sea urchin, and I would like to put one eventually in my little tank. I'm hesitant to do it now because if I do that, it's just going to wipe out algae faster than what my tank is producing, so my snails would starve. So I'm kind of like, okay, how do you balance that? I'm certainly going to have to do some research, but it is interesting in that there's always something you're trying to combat. You're never, I almost look at it as a weed. You're never at, like, everything's perfect and it's forever going to stay perfect. Like, sooner or later, you're going to be dealing with something again. Might work. You also might not. Oh, and I'm throwing things on the floor. Grabbing a few pencils here to see what looks good. So this is the thing. Everyone always worries about, I think they're the same color. They always worry about finding the perfect color, and that you get in your head that artists could just know, this is the color I use. You grab it and everything's perfect. No, I have no idea. I'm grabbing a few things and I'll try them until I find one I like. Marcia said, I am doing a golden retriever with colored pencils. Can you give me tips for the nose? Sharp pencils and work slow, really slow. Dots are going to be your friends. How's your spider doing? Has she grown? She shouldn't grown. She's full grown. She's been in her nest for the last, month pretty much. She made a nest and laid eggs, and I'm hoping they're not fertile. It could go either way on that, but if they're fertile, I just release them outside. But because she's native to this area, before anyone's like, you're harming the environment, she's native. But anyway, I found her here. Where was I going? Ooh, this color really looks nice. She finally came out. I think she ate because she looks like she filled out a little. She was super skinny when they do that, they won't eat for like a month. They're just not coming out of their web. They're sitting in there protecting their eggs, and that's what she did. She finally came out. She's not out as often. She still goes back in with the eggs, so we'll see how that goes. Renee said, I usually avoid the live streams because there's a lot of chatter and not a lot of acting. That's fine if I want a visit, a connection, but I really prefer tutorials. Then you shouldn't be here. Like, so I don't know why you're here. We'll just go that way. I'll be nice and say, I don't know. I already said, this is what I announced at the beginning of the live stream, and I get if you're just coming in now. That's not what these are. These are not tutorials. If you want a tutorial, I have that. That is what Patreon is. This is a chance I get to chat with you guys. There is chatter. That is what this live stream is. If you don't want that, there are other videos that are going to be more suitable for you. Some will be mine, some will be other people's, but this is not going to be, I don't know why you're, I had a guy yesterday, this one I really liked. I'm like, I explained this. But anyway, he had commented on, what was it? And that is what Patreon are, just straight tutorials. There's no chatter there at all. But he had commented, and the only time this guy has ever commented on my videos is making the same complaint. That I talk too fast, my orations were too fast, and it's the same wording he used on his previous complaints too. And he has to always slow my videos down to 25.75, and for goodness sakes, you need to slow down. And it's like, I don't know why you're here. Not everything is for every person. I get that. I'm not going to be able to make everyone happy, so there you go. I try to warn you beforehand so I don't waste your time. Like, this is not a straight tutorial. This is just me working while I chat and ramble with you guys. But I'm like, I just blocked him. I'm like, the only time, dude, you have ever commented on my stuff is to complain that you don't like what I do, or you don't like how I talk. I don't know why you know that I talk that fast, and yet you keep going to my different videos and complaining the same complaints. Like, what is going on there? Just kind of odd. Anyway, Marcia said, I messaged you on Instagram through my brother's account. Can you please check that out? Maybe? I don't use Instagram. I'm going to say yeah, and I'm probably not going to because I don't use it. You can message me on MeWe is where if you want to get a hold of me, that's where I might look. And if you're contacting me, because most of the times people contact me on Instagram, it's, can you critique my work? Can you give me your opinion? No, I cannot. I don't do that. So there's no way I would get my own work done. So if that's what it is, I've not seen it. That's usually what it is when someone messages me on Instagram, but I don't even open Instagram anymore. So it's not an app I use. MeWe is where you can get a hold of me, but if it is to get me to give you my opinion on your work, that is not what I do. So, I mean, unless I'm doing a critique, but that is not through private messages. If it's something else, message me on MeWe and I'll check it out. Cat's Art Pig said, gosh, I got an attitude today, don't I? Cat's Art Pig said, my local post office announced that what used to take 3 days will now take 5 days, and they are cutting the hours. How's your post office in Texas? I don't know. Things have been weird. Like FedEx, 2-day FedEx is now taking 3 days, and they're not telling you that. Stuff's just dying in the mail when you have stuff shipped. So that's becoming an issue. And the post office, I ordered my Teespring sweatshirt Glitch on, what day was that? It was supposed to be here like 10 days ago. And it is in, I think, Capel, and it's just sitting there. Like, it doesn't say it moved from there. I don't know if it got lost, if it's eventually going to come. I have no idea what's going on there, but that was 10 days ago that it was supposed to be here. I mean, I'm not too worried about it. Teespring will send another one if it did get permanently lost, but yeah, that was kind of weird. And half my order came, the other half did not. They shipped them like a day apart. So I'm really not sure what's going on long term. Penny said, I know that pastels are not your thing. Do you know if I can put pan pastel on top of colored pencil rather than under? I've done both, and I've not had any issues either way, which kind of surprised me. But mostly I do pan pastels first and then the colored pencil on top. It's rare that I go on top with the pan pastels. I'm not sure how well that'll stick long term. Dee said, I love the live streams and talk. I can work on my project and listen and watch. I learn all kinds of new things I would never have known. Yay! See, you're not going to make everybody happy, but I'm making some people happy. EO said, do you have plans for the next project? By the way, I really enjoy your live streams and videos. Oh, thank you. If you can see, let's see. Look at that big canvas, big white. There. That is a 20, no, it is not. It's bigger than that. It's a 30 by 40 inch Belgian linen acrylic canvas. Or acrylic pigment. That is I'm going to be starting that probably, I I don't know if I'm starting that tonight because there's no way it's getting done in a week. That's big. It's going to be the one that's going to go over my reef tank. I've waited 5 months. I just haven't found time, so I'm going to try to get that done. But I've got to, because that'll take so long, what I'll be doing is in between doing smaller stuff for Patreon, like charcoal tutorials. I don't know if I'm going to start charcoal tonight or if I'm going to start that one tonight. Maybe a bit of both. But I need to get something finished by tonight and tomorrow to get one project done, so I should probably start charcoal in case it takes me a little longer. And then if I'm ahead, I can start that one. So those are my 2 projects. And I don't know, let me know what you want to see in charcoal because I'm not sure what that's going to be yet. Something I can get done in 2 days. I mean, charcoal's fast, so that's definitely possible. Ian said, love your chat lives. Awesome stuff. Wish I got motivation this week, but nope, I want to finish my owl. Renee said, I am here today because I am in mood for a visit and a connection. Oh, nice. That's awesome. Yay. So I can make you happy then. So now I understand why you're here, and now I can lose my attitude, and I get it. If I didn't already run you off with said attitude. Taylor said, live streams can be some of the most beneficial videos out there, especially when you can ask questions and receive answers. Love these lives with Lisa. Oh, thank you. Where are we? Get caught up on some of these. Jason, yeah, what happens too, sometimes when I'm reading these, I take them not the wrong, like I'll take them the wrong way. Like I'll sometimes take criticism as a compliment, and I'll take compliments as a criticism. Like I'll take it both where someone's like, we want you to change, and that's not really what you were saying. So yeah, that happens when reading text. Jason said, Lisa, with the overlap of different elements of the work, do the large parts first, then the forward after. Oh, great. Glitch is still around. Cool. Yeah, Glitch is doing great. Glitch is her and Captain Cook. This is Captain Cookie over here. And then this is actually Glitch. In the photo, she was sticking on I think she was on my thumb. The reference photo. Hey, it just better. But she's doing so well. It's so crazy. We thought she'd die back in January. You know, we expected we'd get a couple weeks, and she was just going to starve to death. And since I've been force feeding, she's so easy. She wants to be she doesn't mind the force feeding. She was trying to swallow the card I used to pop her mouth open with. She was like, "Give it to me. I'm so hungry." So yeah, she's doing really well. I'm going to build her a larger vivarium. She's doing super, super well. And as far as the overlap of different elements of the work, do the large parts first, it didn't matter. I did the background. I usually like to work in the back and kind of work my way forward, but on a few of these areas I was back and forth a little bit, so it doesn't honestly matter that much with this medium. Sam said, the live streams work way better for me. You find recorded tutorials everywhere, but live streams you can ask really specific answers and know deeper how the art community is. Yeah, I think it's fun. I've been hooked on live streams. I've been watching reef keeping live streams. There's one, I just watched one by Reef Bum. He was interviewing the guy who does the aquabiomics. He's a marine biologist. He's the one that tests the water. I sent in my sample, and they'll test and tell you like what your microbe level is and parasites and all. It's really cool. And so listening to that, it's funny. And normal people would probably be bored by it, but it was so that was one of the most entertaining live streams I've listened to. I just finished it this morning while I was doing my makeup. No one cares. I don't know I'm giving that much information. But that one was really good. That, and then there's another one called Reef Beef. Listening to these two guys, they swear a lot, so just a warning. But listening to them kind of go back and forth, debating things, talking about things with reef keeping, it's really interesting. I learn a lot through those more than the edited ones. I'm really enjoying the meat. So I get it. I like the live streams myself too. Tara said, haha, I like the attitude. Straight to the point, no faffing about. Faffing, am I saying that right? Let's see. Robin says, hello, my first time with you. Live with you, just in time for... Io said, I'm currently doing a raccoon in charcoal and finding it hard to keep the pencil sharp. Any tips? Charcoal is hard to keep, yes, I mean, that's kind of the charcoal thing. So you can switch to a harder leaded charcoal. It depends on which one you're using. When I need a really sharp, I think I've got them sitting over here. So I use 2 different charcoals that I really like. They're both by Generals. So I've got the Generals Peel and Sketch. This is great because I don't have to sharpen it. I can unwind, just pull that down. I'm not breaking the tip like I do typically when I sharpen my charcoal pencils. But it's good for larger areas. When I need smaller, I go with the pencil. This one, you can go ahead and sharpen that to a pretty fine point. The softer one, you cannot push hard. You will burn through that so fast or break it. but you can get the harder lead with this too, and that will give you that finer point. So that can work. Another thing you can do for really crisp lines, do I have one over here? Let me see. You can use a paintbrush or a water brush. So here's one, this is a Derwent water brush. So you can take that water brush, it's got water in the back end of it, and just sharpen up those edges. So let's say your charcoal pencil just wasn't that sharp, you're having trouble getting the fine, clean edges, a little bit of water and a little bit, practice with that. But this can really give you those crisp edges with a charcoal pencil that you cannot get with a pencil by itself. So that, maybe I'll do that on this week's lesson. I still don't know what subject matter I should do with charcoal. Give me ideas. Thanks, Joe. But as far as keeping it sharp, I mean, charcoal's just, you sharpen them a lot, it burns down fast. You can also use, I don't really like it on charcoal, you can use the sandpaper block to sharpen your charcoal instead of my frogs are going crazy today, instead of my brain just shut down. Instead of a sharpener, there's also, I don't think I have one, do I have it in here? I may have lost it. I bought one, it clamps onto your easel or something like that, and it's kind of like a metal grate. You can use that too. I don't have one over here to show you. Well, it probably is in my mess of basket next to me, I just can't find it. Let's see. Anne said, I started with the Owl using Prismacolor pencils. I absolutely love them. I'm dreading traveling tomorrow because the loss of my dad, but I learned a lot from you, definitely. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for your loss. I feel weird, quickly going on to the next thing, I'm sorry for your loss here. I am being dismissive. I don't mean to be, but I really am sorry. Kelsey said, oh, there's the rest. I feel like a chimp or a tiger would be fun to see in charcoals. Have I done a tiger lately in charcoal? I mean, not. Let's keep a running list of ideas. Tiger or chimp? I've been trying to take your guys' ideas because I don't realize sometimes I do too much marine life. And somebody had commented recently they missed my African wildlife stuff, and I'm like, you're right, I hadn't done enough. So I've been trying to do more of what you guys are requesting. Hobby Artist said, do you have any tips for wanting to turn art from a hobby source into an income? What is the best way to learn marketing? Google search, watch YouTube videos. Honestly, most art marketing videos I found were crap. There's one guy, I don't even remember his name. I don't need to talk that much crap specifically. But I remember one guy was doing kind of an art marketing thing, and he would email. Actually, I unsubscribed from him when he started this crap. It's not that I was learning. I never learned anything from him. I was just kind of curious what his stuff was. But he had an email telling people, basically, if you don't sign up for his course, you obviously do not take your career seriously. Or I know more than you. And I was just curious. It was very, very, it was bad. So anyway, there are a lot of people out there giving art marketing advice that I wouldn't necessarily look for art marketing. I would look for marketing, straight out marketing. And you, being a creative, need to figure out how to turn that into, how does this apply to my business? So simple points would be, you need to find where your target audience is hanging out. So let's say you draw cars. Cars are your thing. You want to go to car shows and maybe have a booth there with your work, have some prints available. Going to a dog show to sell your car artwork doesn't make sense. Knowing things, and actually this got brought up and it's super true on the last live stream. Online, if you do super realistic stuff, online is easier, I find, to make sales than in person. Whereas more abstract art does better getting sales out of an art gallery or art shows like that, where people see it in person, versus online wants more realism. So it's kind of an interesting thing there. So knowing where is your target market located, so you can focus on that. So if I were an abstract artist, yeah, you can sell it online, but I would be focusing on getting into galleries. Because I'm going to probably have the most success there, because that is what's going to get my work into that target audience. Whereas if I'm working on realism, I'm probably going to focus a bit more online. Now, it also depends. It's not as simple as that. There is more to do with it, because I think that there's a cutoff price-wise that just doesn't sell online unless someone has to see that on in person. Wow. But they have to see it in person before they're willing to drop 10K on something. So there's that. It kind of depends on your pricing for sure. But, figuring out where is your target audience. if you can do art walks, you can do stuff like that. That can get you started. You can try galleries. I mean, whatever medium you're in, you just need to make sure that the gallery specializes or knows its customer base well enough to know whether or not your work will do well in it. Being turned down by a gallery is not something to be taken personal. It's not something, why did I just hear a bell? Oh, it's passed out. It is not, they know they can't sell it. There's no reason to take up wall space. They know their customer base. And so don't be offended if a gallery is like, no, this isn't a fit for us. There's a reason. They're actually doing you a favor. So, you know, keep those in mind. eBay is a good place to start, honestly. Etsy I don't really like, but eBay, have a website built for yourself, and when you have business cards made, don't do what I did. Remember to put your website on your business cards. God, I'm an idiot. I still can't believe I did that. So, and it's, like I said, it's not that big of a deal. It's just like, that's the main thing that should have been on the business. Oh. Anyway, let's see, what else? I'm just cleaning up detail on glitch here. I should actually zoom that in so I can see what I'm doing. Oh, that's actually blue. What else? Trying to think. But like eBay is where I started selling on social media. So you can try on Facebook. This part does suck. So a lot of people will talk about like, oh, you can't make it on YouTube anymore, and you used to be able. No, that's not true. You absolutely can. One thing that is harder is trying to get sales through Facebook now. I used to make a decent amount of sales on Facebook until they decided it was pay to play, and most artists can't afford to pay to play. Those ads are expensive. So that certainly changed. That used to be, and some people do well selling on Facebook, so you can try it. I think long term, MeWe is going to be a really good way to go, except right now there aren't a lot of users on MeWe, so we've got to change that. And that's up to us to change and start pushing people. But I would post both on MeWe. I would post on, and MeWe, if you post something and your fans see it, they see everything that's available. So like I posted chicken's merch. Even though I posted a video that same day, anyone who follows me saw both posts if they were online at the time. Whereas Facebook, you post once, 3% of your fans might see it. You post twice, almost no one will see the second one. Or maybe the reverse, but they're very weird the way their stuff works. Also, Facebook, by the way, got caught. They've got a tier system. If you're fancy, you don't have to follow their algorithm or their rules. You can break them all you want. You don't get in trouble. But us little lowbie plebs, we have to follow their rule. Like, we will get banned for, like, let's say somebody sells betta fish. If they try to sell them online, they get their account taken down off Facebook. Or if they sell them on Facebook. So, which is a weird thing. But because pay to bot, part of it is how that started. So anyway, point is, you've got a lot more freedoms on MeWe. So I see MeWe long-term doing better if we can get more people using it. But anyway, I would post on both right now. If you're using Facebook, go ahead and post. Whatever social media platforms you're using, post them on both. It's just that on other platforms, it's hard for people to see your content. So if you can build a following on one where people will actually see what you post, that's going to serve you better long-term. So like I said, 3% of 33,000 people seeing my posts ends up being less than 100% of the 1,700 people seeing my posts on MeWe. So, you know, you've got to weigh that out. Every once in a while, I'll have a post that Facebook's like, oh, you haven't posted in a while. We're going to share it with more people, but that is pretty rare. Someone actually commented yesterday. They're like, wow, I haven't seen one of your posts in months. They were all happy that they saw one for the first time in forever. And it's like, yeah, I post. It's the same thing, letting people know when I'm live on YouTube or when a new video goes up. Over there, no one sees it. That is the joy of Facebook. I can't have a live stream without a Facebook ring. And anyway, it's just kind of a weird thing because we used to be able to make good sales on Facebook, and that's a lot harder to do now. Some people do well with it. It's not that it's not possible, but just some annoying things there. But social media, trying to get that going, and like I said, get your website going. eBay, I think, is good. The nice thing about selling on eBay, some people will feel safer buying through eBay or Etsy than through your website if they don't know you, if you don't already have the name for yourself. For me, it's not that beneficial because they know me. Like, people trust buying or spending $1,000 on a painting. They know they're going to get it from me. Whereas somebody who's newer, they may be like, is this person going to be scamming me? I don't know them well yet. And so in that case, they may feel more comfortable making that purchase through Etsy or eBay. So that might be something to consider too if you're newer in pushing that versus straight out like trying to only get the sales on your website, which is harder to do anyway. So few thoughts there for you. But learning marketing, I would just look at general marketing. I wouldn't really bother with art marketing. I've never found one that was any good. I've always had to go through, like, here, even with YouTube channels, like telling you how to make your YouTube better, go through just a generalized thing and figure out how to apply those concepts to your art business. Where are we? Oh my gosh, this jumped so far. I'm apologizing. I'm just scrolling up to try to get caught up to where we were. Okay. Lucas had said, can you recommend a good alternative to Winsor & Newton pigment markers? Unfortunately, they discontinued them. So it turns out, I want to say it's their watercolor markers. Lindsay, the Frugal Crafter, look up her video. She talked about it. They apparently just rebranded them, but the same thing. It's supposed to be the same. I've not tried it. I don't know. But according to Lindsay, that's what she was told, which is pretty awesome. But I haven't done a lot of research on that yet. Looks like I'm going to need this because we want, let's see, a Panda in charcoal would be amazing. You know what? I have a feeling it's going to be a Panda this week. Because I got all excited when you said that. I'm like, I have good photos of that. I'm going to write down some of your other ideas, though, because I'm probably going to do a couple of charcoal pieces while I'm working on this bigger one. Because I don't want to, one of the problems I've done with Patreon before, the last time I did a piece this big, it was like 5 lessons, and I think people were like, cancel, I'm done with this one. So I need to, like, that one won't be all real time is the downside, the big 30 by 40 behind, well, there, wait, hold on, not that side. That one, it's too long of a project, so I want to make sure I have other stuff that people can follow along with every week and then do that on 1 week, but I think that one's going to be like kind of sped up. A combination of here's in real time how I'm making the brush stroke, and then we're going to speed up that process, so that one will be a little bit different, but anyway, I got to do a few charcoal pieces in between, but I think the first one this week, pretty sure it's going to be a Panda I start tonight, because I just got excited when you said it's like, that's it, that's what I have to do. Let's see, so thank you, Drawing Girl. Said, I use Derwent charcoals, but I will try generals when I'm done with the Derwent. I need to try the Derwent because I don't know what I prefer. I've just always had, like, generals was just easier to get. Which is funny because I work with Derwent. They would send me them for free if I asked. I probably should do that. Jason said, with the watercolor dispenser, do you have to use it with the charcoal or just wash it? I just wash it and reuse it when I use it with water. You have to be careful. I have made enough of a mess. No, I made that mess with ink, though. I was doing a weird thing with ink from Smart Art Box, and I ruined one. It, like, sucked it back in. Charcoal, I just rinsed it out, and it was fine. You just have to make sure it's really rinsed out because you don't want to dirty up the watercolor. I don't actually... No, I did use that same one. So, yeah, just clean it. Let's see. Richard said, how about a bear in charcoal? I've seen many of your videos. Can't remember if you've ever done a bear before. I did a bear recently in acrylics. The Panda, well, it's not really a bear, but I'll write that down as a possibility for the future. But I did recently do a bear in acrylics. Natalie Bug said, you know what I'm going to suggest for charcoal tutorial? Guinea pig. Yeah, I know. I'm going to write that down, too. One of these days. I'm going to find a reference photo and be like, I have to draw this. I can't not draw this. Actually, you have a lot of them, too. I need to draw your guinea pig in a hat. Allie said, add to your watercolor pencils that have, to add your watercolor pencils, but have you tried the Prisma watercolor pencils? I won't buy Prismacolor products. If I can avoid it, I'm not buying it. I don't like the company. I don't like their attitude towards artists as far as, we'll replace it if it's bad. You mean they're mostly bad, so now I'm stuck without the pencil I need while I wait for you to replace it, or I can just go to another brand and get one that works. I'm not a Prismacolor fan. That half their stuff's not light fast anyway. Not literally half, but like close. So no, I won't bother with them. Ziga said, what about a sloth? I do have reference photos for sloth, so let's write that down. Some I took myself, actually. What about Patreon videos for the marketing? It's a whole thing. Like, to do a lesson besides just chatting here, I don't even know how I would teach that. Like, to make it enough content to... I'm not sure how I would even do that, honestly. Charcoal on pastel mat. I need to one of these days. I like toned color with charcoal. That's like my favorite. So, I don't know there. But I do need to try it. Clark Bynard said, I agree with Nick. A moose. Oh, I must have missed his. This is jumping. I'm like missing. Yeah. So he wanted a moose. I can't find a good reference photo of a moose because I wanted to do one for, what did I do? An acrylic paint. Something recently I wanted to do a moose. I could not find. I think when I ended up doing the bear, I wanted a moose. Can't find a good reference photo that I like. So I'm having some issues there. Oh, you said I have a great royalty for your image. I could message you a link if you want. I've been wanting to do. Have you ever done a moose? I've not done a moose. Link me that. I'm really picky. I may love it. I may hate it. I don't know. Link me though. Natalie Bug said I would also love to see a tarantula tutorial, especially the one with the fluffy legs. You know, I want to do them, but it grosses so many people out. I'm like, I'm going to lose patrons. I don't know on that one. See, so many people are weird about that, and I need to be able to pay my bills. Marcia said, hi, what colored pencils do you recommend now using these Staedtler ones? My favorites are Polychromos, Faber-Castell Polychromos. They're the one, look in the video description, they're all listed there. Faber-Castell Polychromos, Derwent Lightfast, those are my top two. Next would be the Derwent Drawing and Derwent Luminance. Those are my go-to pencils. How about a squirrel in charcoal? I have a few photos too of those guys. Jason said you could write your information that's not on your card when you hand it out as a personal signature. Sort of, but there's no room on the card the way I designed it. So I think what I'll do is circle, like bring a colored pencil or whatever, and just circle. Because it's set, my email is lisa@lachri.com. My website's lachri.com. So I'll just circle, like, there's my website, like, and it can be kind of a funny, like, just point of I'm an idiot conversation. And it jumped again. Let's see if I can get caught up on these, and then I'll do some more drawing. Artistic Flower said, how did you get the idea to draw Be a Fantastic Picture? You guys helped me with this. It wasn't even me on this one. You guys pretty much came up with a design telling me what, like, we all did it together on a live stream. So you can actually look back. It was the first live stream in this one. It should be on the playlist. But we came up with that idea together. And then, of course, I had these photos of the frogs because they're my frogs. That guy's from Pixabay. I think he's Pixabay too. I think most of the stuff, the rest of this is Pixabay. But it's basically just a collage. Natalie said, I want to start all the projects this week, but I don't want to finish anything first. What? I'm gonna start all of them. Eo said, how about Panda munching on some tall corals? That would be cute. That would be really cute. I mean, it's probably not going to be this piece, but that would be for a really cool, like, I really like the idea of a panda mixed with coral and fish and stuff. Like, I love that idea. Actually, write that down. Maybe for the future, because that is awesome. Let's see. Hedgehog and Charcoal. I know I think you've actually requested the hedgehog. Oh, white pencil's not going to work on white paper. Hedgehog. Natalie Bug said, I'll try to upload some photos of my guinea pigs to my MeWe now that I've got a better camera, which you are welcome to use it for reference. Nice! I'll note that in the description so you know. Perfect, thank you. Starving Artist Collective said, remember you didn't want the Wix website thing for yourself, but you talked about doing one for a patron subscriber or live stream. Still thinking of doing this? Maybe eventually. Right now, I just haven't planned it out. Like, these live streams have taken so many more episodes than I thought they would, because I wanted to do that for Nick. I just haven't done it yet. Lisa, you don't check the email very often, right? Nope. What I do, I read it, and then I think, okay, I'm going to respond to this, and then months go by, and somebody contacts me again, and no. Or it goes to spam. That's what these live streams are for, so I can talk to you and get caught up with stuff. Do I purchase from Pixabay? I do not. I use the free ones. Anne said, do you know what I really would love to have in UK, your Walmart? It sounds like you have absolutely everything from art stuff to craft stuff to other stuff to, oh, I would have gotten myself in trouble with that comment about the people who shop at Walmart. I mean, I shop at Walmart too, but I avoid it when I can. Oh, dear God, Walmart. Walmart is the land of, and it's not, I mean, now it's not 24 hours like they used to be, but Walmart is the land of terrible parents who have their kids on a school night at 1 in the morning shopping at Walmart to get their chips and their soda, and then, like, not even like emergency medication. They're just shopping. Just gonna go out and shop for some junk food with my kids at 1 in the morning on a school night. And then I'm gonna blame the school system for those kids not doing well in school and say that they didn't have a chance to succeed because the school system, not because of my bad parenting skills. So there's that. That is what Walmart, you see a whole lot of butt cracks. You see, God, you just see some stuff in Walmart. There used to be a site called People of Walmart, and it was hilarious, and sadly, ridiculously accurate. Sadly so. So yeah, that Walmart's not. I go to Target when possible, like when I need to. But Walmart, I seriously, it's funny, my neighbor makes fun of me for that. Because Target, and it's actually not always true, but Target, you'll spend a few cents more for certain items. I will spend that few, one, I'm going to spend more in gas to get to Walmart because just the location of it. But I really avoid Walmart. His wife is like me. She'd rather go to Target. He's always giving her crap for that too. Because he says it's going to cost more. It's like, it's not that much more for avoiding the other people who shop at Walmart. It depends on the neighborhood though, because we had a Walmart that was in, where was that? When I lived in Grapevine, it was technically, what city did that fall in? Was that, shoot, I can't think. My brain just shut down. It was right north of Grapevine. But whatever city that was, they didn't allow a Walmart, and there were talks back and forth. So when they built it, they had to, like, they were very clear it couldn't even look like a Walmart. Like, the inside of it was really nice. It was actually a pretty cool store. And the people that shopped there, maybe because it was a higher end income place, like, for some reason that means not buying chips with your kids at 1 in the morning. I don't know. That was actually a thing I saw regularly. I'm not just making that up. But yeah, that one was really nice. So I guess it depends on the area you go to. Some of the areas you go to, like I remember going into one and it was so uncomfortable. I swear to you, there was a guy who kept walking by and he was just staring at my purse. I have never had that happen before. I was like, oh, I don't want to walk out of the parking lot. Let's see. And the craft stuff at Walmart, it's not good stuff. Like, they have a big selection, but it's not always quality. I do get my undershirts, the tank tops I always wear under my other shirts. Those I really like Walmart's better than anyone else, but that's about it. So I find out, so I sent you the moose will be our chat message over on MeWe. I could see him becoming a surreal thing like your lion. Hold on, let me look. Let me just see. Oh, it's the first, that's right. New patrons are coming. Natasha, if you're watching, hello. Let's see, MeWe, Pixabay. That is awesome. Wow, that's a gorgeous photo. Okay, maybe. And I may have seen that and didn't do it. Like, there were a few photos where I'm like, that's just going to take me too long. But that is an amazing photo. That I may have. That would be cool to do in, there's a few, that would be cool. Either colored pencils over pan pastels or colored pencil over watercolor or acrylic with airbrushing. Oh, it would be a long piece though. Yeah, what was it? Nick said, yeah, Target, it's like Walmart with a dress code. Yeah, although, oh my gosh, I saw the craziest thing. I've seen two really odd things in my years at Target. One was a lady who I'm guessing, I would say she's in her 50s. So she's not like super old or anything, but too old to be wearing what she was wearing. Her hoo-ha was hanging out. I am not kidding you. Luckily she had underwear, but her dress was so short and she'd bend over. She's wearing high heels and she would do the bending over with the straight leg, and she's looking back at the male employees who work there, the teen, like late teens, early 20s, trying to make sure they're watching her. It was the most awkward. My husband and I were cracking. I didn't even care if she saw it. It's like, woman, you are making a fool of yourself. What are you doing? I can see your hoo-ha. It was, whoa. Then we had, so that one, and she, throughout the store, we'd see her a couple times, her trying to get the attention of these young men. I'm like, I used to show my Italian Greyhounds. My girl, when she was in heat, did not act that, like that. This was just, what in the world am I seeing right now? The other thing, this was last week or the week before, this was a younger girl, and she would have probably been cute, tiny little thing. She was wearing a lace bralette, like an actual, like a bra. It's snapped in the back, the normal bra, but like the lacy, see-through white. That's it. That was all she was wearing. No top. That's an undershirt, not a shirt. I saw all the things. Everyone saw all the things because it's clear lace. It's not even like, oh, this is a sheer top. It's clear lace. I don't even know if what she was wearing was legal. Like, it's not really a top. You're wearing long, like, oh my God. Kaneho wants to be made a mod. I think he just wants to make me laugh. He wants to make all of us laugh. Things in this world. Love you, Kaneho. Dear God, no, that's not happening. But yeah, the girl with the and like she was younger, so I know young kids wear weird things, but so I would guess in her early 20s. But I remember it was funny. Her and her friend was wearing something else kind of ridiculous, not like this one was, and she commented to someone. Did you see something or another? And I looked at my husband, I'm like, oh, we all saw. Like, and I know that's not what she was talking about, but it's like, we saw everything. Like, oh my God. I was just laughing. And it's not even like, you can't even just try not to laugh. Like, I'm sorry, if you wear that in public, I am laughing in the same aisle as you because it's hilarious. And you obviously wanted the attention. Let me give you the attention. Oh dear God. Let's see. Anne said, what you mentioned about Walmart reminds me of Aldi. I've never been in one of those. Jason said, I can only find fish oil with lemon taste at Walmart. I'm not reading that right. That's why you're talking about food. With lemon taste at Walmart, so mostly that's the only thing I get there. Yeah, sometimes I can only find my coffee I want there too. So yeah, every once in a while. Clark said, Finer said they wanted to put a Walmart in our little town. The town said no. Thankfully, we have no Walmart here. You're better off. Becky said, I would love to do a surreal mousse. I'm in. Let's see. Clark Fine Art said, he's the one I've been saving for a main theme surreal piece. Would love to see what you do with the mousse. Yeah, I'm going to have to, I like that photo a lot. Marcia said, hi, I'm India. What time is it where you are? It is 2:01 here. Sam said, is everyone in Walmart unsanitary and promiscuous? Well, I don't know. The promiscuous thing was Target. That wasn't even Walmart. Walmart, I don't think they're trying to be promiscuous. I think their clothes just tend to be 3 or 4 or 10 sizes too small. And they keep shoving their butts into them anyway, even though it does not fit at all. So most of the butt is outside of the clothing. So Walmart's a little bit different than the Target situation. I don't even know if I would say unsanitary. That I can't really judge on. But yeah, it was interesting. Sarah said, I seem to always reach a point in a piece where I know I'm not finished, but the reference photo isn't helping anymore. Do you feel this? Oh, every single time. You get to a point where you just put that reference photo away and you stand back and you try to decide what will make your piece look better. That's just, you have to do that as an artist. Sarah said, I find the art supplies at Walmart, Target, Walgreens, etc. almost always look like they're geared towards children. Oh, 100%. Like, absolutely. It is not for actual artists. That was a big huff I heard over there. Is someone bored? Seriously, this is the cutest little frog. I love all the frogs, but Murky and Cookie are my absolute favorites. You love a frog? Is that weird? Glitch and I have just been through so much together. I should zoom this in a little bit more for you guys. Let me see if I can make it so you can see this better. Nope, that is the chicken sweatshirt. What do I need? That might be too far, we'll see. There we go. Now you can at least see the detail we're doing here. Oh, I almost hit stop stream. Why? I don't know. Glad I didn't do that. Let's see. Shayna said, just joined. When using Inktense blocks, I add water to the paper first, then paint on the Inktense. And the colors blend, but when dry, it's patchy. Do you know why? I'd have to see what's going on. That might be kind of a cool thing. If you want to take a video of what's happening and send it to me, and I can make a video out of that video showing you how to, like, what's causing it and how to fix it, that would be kind of cool, like the one video I did with the rake brush. So I don't know if you're willing to do that or not, Shayna, but if you want to record yourself doing that, email it to me, lisa@lachri.com. You can just upload it to Google Drive. And then I will include it in a video and then see if I can solve the problem. I would need to see because there's too many things for me to know. Yeah, those videos are fun. It's just like you guys have to actually send me work. Send me something I can solve. Oh, good coffee. Pumpkin spice. Nick's favorite. Switch over to purple for these shadows. I'm getting a bit darker than what I need to be right there. And that needs to be sharper. There's a taco frog. Ziga said, do you have any plans after this project is done? What are you thinking for another one we come up with the idea together? Oh, absolutely. Well, first I'm going to do some critique videos. So you guys will be able to submit over on MeWe. I'll let you know when that's available. And we'll do some critiques. And then after that, yeah, we're going to design one together again. Both the boy frogs in that tank are going crazy today. Like more so than usual lately. So I'm using the Derwent Luminance here. So this one has a little bit more wax in it, so it's not going to blend out quite like the other ones will, which is good because I kind of want this to stay put. I'm putting in here. Start really defining her. There's actually some green on her foot there I'm missing. Clark Painter said, draw stick figure sends to Lachri Farmer. Why can't I get this more realistic? Oh my gosh, that would so be something someone would send to me. One of the questions that always makes me laugh, people will be like, can you teach me or tell me how to draw a cat? How do I just tell someone how to draw a cat? Like that's not, you're not asking a specific question in that case. It's usually kids that, you know, young, you can tell it's someone who's younger, so I get that. But, yeah, those ones make me laugh. Or the comments on videos, can you teach me how to paint? Well, I have a channel with over 1,000 videos that are doing that very thing. I'm not sure why you think you need one-on-one. Like, I don't, or Patreon. I don't know where you're going with this. Let's see. Does it smell inside Walmart? Sometimes, not usually. Usually it's small. It's clean. They actually do keep it pretty clean. It's organized sometimes, but clean. At least the ones near me. That could vary from location to location. Let's see. Sam said, I heard this trend where people would camp inside Walmart. Is Walmart the next biohazard breakout zone? I don't know. People are weird and they do weird things. They can't get away with a lot of that now because Walmart's not 24 hours. At the time it was. So they were just in the store and Walmart's not like, how do you say for sure someone's really not shopping now? I don't even know. And I mean, I'm sure Walmart employees are used to some crazy stuff. I feel for those of you who work there. Anne said, I'm doing another version of the great horned owl, but in graphite charcoal chalk once I finish the colored pencil ones. I can't wait to save and get to the polychromos. Yeah, I really like the polychromos are nice. Yeah, speaking of smell, there's actually the Target, and it's a nice Target. It's one of the nicer ones. It's in Frisco that I go to. It always smells when you walk in. There's like a sewer somewhere nearby, like right by the door. There's some smell that is always escaping, and it's like, oh dear God, once you get past it, it's fine. There was, though, what, was it a Target we went in? No, it was a Hobby Lobby. The entire store, I don't know what happened in there, but that whole store was just, oh, it was not okay. Like, we need to get out of here as soon as possible because that cannot be healthy. I love working on the sanded paper with colored pencils because dots work in a way that they do not show up as well on regular paper. And it's not what I need. What do I need? Maybe a purple? It is too, I need light, but not that. There we go. That's better. Sam said, yeah, I watched YouTube videos about this trend, ice cream tubs and donuts and putting them back in the place in Walmart. People are doing that in all of the grocery stores. It was pretty bad. Morgan Creates Art said, what do you think of the idea of an art gallery that rents wall space rather than asking for a commission on sales? I think the idea is great. I think it is genius. If they're not taking a commission, if they rent that space, you essentially have your own little gallery, but they're taking, you know, if they have somebody there all the time, I think it is a great idea. And it's really up to you then to get your customers in the store too, because they're not making money on a commission. So here's something to keep in mind. If an art gallery, this is actually a really cool topic, if an art gallery is taking a commission, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because I know a lot of people are like, they took 50%. Okay, that's still, I made 50% more than I would have made on my own if it wouldn't have sold. So if an art gallery is getting a commission, they are more incentivized to sell that art, to do advertising, to get people in. If they're just renting out a wall, they don't have that incentive. They just don't have that. I think there's another word. But anyway, you need to get people in to look at your wall. That is your wall space. You need to get them in there, because why? They don't make anything if you, I mean, obviously they want you to keep selling your artwork so that you'll keep renting the wall space, but also it's not the same level of being incentivized, that's the word I'm looking for as they would if they were getting a commission. So now in that sense too, in a place like that, they're also going to be more, it depends on the gallery, but some galleries will let anybody, it doesn't matter if they have a following, it doesn't matter if their art is good, take up wall space. I would not rent out a wall if it was included into a gallery with a whole lot of really terrible art, like beginner stuff. Like that artist might eventually be good, they just aren't there yet. I'm not going to do it, because you're not going to get the same customer base in there. I want to go somewhere where the artwork is comparable to mine. Skill level, technique, well, it's the same thing. The name the artist has built for themselves, that's going to get you more sales, because more people are going to go into that store. There was an art gallery locally. They were so big on making sure even beginners got to show there. Then people don't take the professional artists seriously. Like it wasn't worth it. It was absolutely a waste of time for a professional artist to have anything to do with this gallery, because it had a reputation for really crappy art. And those artists might eventually be amazing. They weren't there yet, and so me selling my work right next to them, it just didn't make sense. And that was what ended up happening, and all the professional artists stopped showing there because they realized it didn't make sense. So I guess while I say it's a good idea, there are factors I would consider. What other art is being displayed on there? Are they going to let anyone rent a wall? Because that's how they make their money. They just want to rent the wall space. They don't care if people keep coming in. Or is it a gallery that wants to make sure you stay, so they want to make sure the people are coming in, and do they do any advertising? Are you going to have to put in, because that's going to make a difference as to how much I'd be willing to pay too. If I have to do all my own advertising, some, absolutely, we all should be doing some whenever our art is in a gallery. But if I have to do all the advertising, I would expect to pay less on my rent on that wall. There are a lot of factors in there. What are they including? Does it have, display racks for you to put your stuff on? Is somebody always there? Are they protecting the art? If that art gets stolen, what is their policy? Is there someone really keeping an eye on it? What happens if a kid comes by and rams their dirty, muddy hand across it? Are they watching out for that? The gallery I told you that had the stuff for beginner, like a lot of beginner stuff, they used to do that. I watched people leaning against a painting hanging on the wall, because they would have concerts, like small kind of folk type concerts at that place, to do an event to get people in there. And people that were there were just leaning against the paintings. They didn't do anything about it. Like, there are a lot of factors on there's pros and cons to everything, but overall, I think the idea of, if it's a quality location that does have a bit of a standard on who they allow to rent a wall space, I think it's a good idea. I do like that idea. Shayna said, can teach me how to paint. Oh, well, that's very vague, as the answer to that question is technically pick up a brush, dip it into paint, and wipe on canvas. I love it. That is exactly it. Cat's Artpick said, I don't have a blending stump for charcoal. What can I use to blend aside from a Q-tip? Take a paper towel. So you just take a like bouncy paper towel or whatever, just roll that up, kind of fold it up, roll it, twist it. I now have a little blending stump. I mean, I would cut the back off of this, but you can kind of form that, and now you have a blending stump. If you get this wet and let it dry where it's twisted, it'll hold that shape a little bit more. Depending on how much you want it, you can tape it. You've got a few things you can do. I've also taken where I just take a paper towel or a t-shirt and wrap it around my finger. Wait, this is where the artwork is. I don't have my thing up. I can't make sure I'm in front of the camera. Hold on. So like this, but like, I'm not sure if this was on camera, so I'm gonna do this again. If you just take a paper towel and twist it, that actually gives you a decent little thing. You can also take, let's say, a paintbrush. Wrap that around the end of the paintbrush. Put the paper towel on a bit thicker. Fold that in. Okay, that one's too pointy. But there we go. If I wrap that right. Here's another little shape. I mean, there's a few things you can do with that. The other thing you can do is take, if you've got scratch paper, roll that up into kind of a tube, roll it really tight, and you can create what is essentially one of these. I don't have one of these already. I think I do. I don't know where it is. But these guys, they're just rolled up paper. You can see, I mean, that would be hard to do on yourself to get it exactly the same, but you can see the ridges there. It's just paper. That is what it is. But you can take your own paper and kind of roll that and try to form it into a shape that would be usable for you. Let's see. Sam said, is Walmart the next dollar store? No, I wouldn't go that far. I don't go to the dollar store. I guess if I threw parties and I needed party decor, I would, but I'm not that social, so that's not happening. I wouldn't say they're as bad as dollar store. Because Walmart, at least all our Walmarts are all the super Walmart, so it's like a grocery store. You've got a clothing department. You've got, like, you have more departments. You have a home department, home decor stuff. You've got like a whole aisle full of candles. Like you have it's just a lesser Target, I would say, if that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I apologize, Zay, for the fuzziness of the live stream. I'm going to have to figure out what's going on here. Can I recommend some brushes for beginners? Brushes for what? And yes, head over to my you've got a few options. Head over to my website, because I don't use expensive brushes except for watercolor. So head over to my website, lachri.com. At the top, there's supplies. So if it's like oils and acrylics, I have a list and links there. So that's probably the easiest way to do it. I use generic brushes for the most part. I'm a cheap date when it comes to paintbrushes, except with watercolor. That apparently makes a bigger deal. It's kind of surprising to me. I don't know. I feel like through the years, most people have this attitude that watercolor is somehow not as like fancy as oil painting, or that it's lesser than. It's more expensive. My gosh, to get the supplies you need to do well with watercolor, I feel like you have to spend a lot more than I did with oils. With oils, I can get away with cheap brushes, no problem. I can get away with like Winsor and using paint, no problem. It's all light fast, no problem there. Watercolors seem much more temperamental on the supplies. Like it really made a note. And that's probably why I didn't like watercolor for so long. I wasn't using quality supplies. Thanks, Artistic Flower. Yeah, sorry. I probably should have announced that a couple times. I forgot that the fuzz was bad. I can see it when I look at the screen. There's like a line. Always. I can see the... Oh, that's so frustrating. I have paid way too much for this computer for that to be happening. Wait, this toe is that one. I've got two toes here that kind of overlap. Let's see. Ian said, I'm going to use watercolor on my Christmas cards. I can't wait to use the pencil ones. Watercolor pencils are fun. I need to do some more work with those. It's been hard for me to do it, though, because I've been enjoying my watercolor pans so much, just because it's like new toy. I've been doing more of those than I have the watercolor pencils, but I really do like my watercolor pencils. The problem is a lot of my watercolor pencils, so like I have the huge set of, wait, one, that toe is overlapping this one. This one's kind of in the back. It needs to be in shadow. Okay, I think I got figured out, sort of. Hold on, their toes were overlapping weird here. Let's get that in. It's weird how their toes bend. 1 second. I have to focus. Apparently can't talk and focus at the same time. Okay, that's good enough. So where were we talking? English. What were we talking about? Oh, so yeah, the watercolor pencils are super fun, but like my Caran d'Ache Luminance, a lot of them are light fast, but a lot of them aren't. And so when I use them, I just want to use any color in the set. So I'm not selling the stuff I've done with the watercolor pencils, but I've created some of my favorite pieces. Like one of my favorite clownfish pieces was with my Caran d'Ache Luminance, or not Caran d'Ache Luminance, Caran d'Ache Aquarelles. So those are aquarelles, is that it? Anyway, those ones are amazing. My Derwent watercolors I really, really liked too. The Faber-Castell, their Albrecht Dürer, those are awesome. Let's see, Ziga said, nothing to do with art, but did you hear of the Mandela Effect, and do you have some of that effect on you? I just learned about it and it blew my mind. Oh yeah, there's a lot with that. My husband had one the other day. There's a video we watch all the time on TikTok. Like I'll play it all the time because it's funny. It's a little puffer fish that says, do you don't have any of those fish foods? He doesn't say those fish foods. In the Mandela Effect, like we both insisted he always did. He didn't. He say, have any fish foods, but those isn't in there. But we both swear it has always said those fish foods, and it's not. I have it saved, so it's the same video, and it is not. But no, that stuff happens all the time, yeah. Clark Reiner said, I turned my sound back down a bit, and honestly, I'm barely noticing it now. I think you're just used to it. It's showing me it's still doing it. Ugh, it annoys me. Thanks for bringing it up again. Allie said, sorry for asking about Prismacolor again. No, don't be sorry. Ask away. The light fastness is different in the watercolor pencils to the regular pencils, such as Sunburst Yellow. Are you asking if they are? Are they, or is the, I'm not sure if you're making a statement or asking. I would assume they're different because that is often the case. You will have in one brand that like the pencil is more light fast than the watercolor is. That is very, very typical with watercolor, so that wouldn't surprise me at all. I don't know for certain, but it would not surprise me. Hobby Artist said, what about doing your next collage in watercolor pencils or Inktense? We could certainly do that. Let's do it in watercolor pencils. I like it. Remind me. Hold on. I'll write it down, but I like it. Because I haven't gotten a chance to use them, but that would give me that opportunity. And then we could do one in light fast as well, but we'll do that first. Sam said, what is Tj Maxx? I heard American people talk about that. It's like a discount store, so like when stuff goes out of style or out of fashion, people like me who don't care if something's in fashion, hence the flannel, we go and buy it for a lot of that. So like a lot, Ross, it would be similar. All the Ross has gotten really dirty. It's actually bad. I mean, Ross smells bad and seems to have some hygienic issues in those stores. I'm not a fan of Ross anymore. It used to be one of my favorite stores. It used to be the only place I got clothes because that was the only one I could afford it. It's like Ross is a lower cost usually than TJ Maxx, but yeah, you'll get clothes that are like name brand stuff for, instead of paying $75 on the shirt, you can get it for $30, stuff like that. So I've gotten some cute shoes from there, like name brand stuff. So it's kind of like an outlet store, I guess would be a way to describe it. But yeah, no, I like TJ Maxx. I used to like Ross, but God, when did that start? Like it wasn't due to the zombie virus. It was years before that. They just weren't getting as much stuff in. So when you go in, like half their aisles are just empty. They used to be full of stuff. So wherever they were getting it stopped many, many years ago. Let's see. Allie said, the Sunburst Yellow being light fast in the watercolor pencil, but not in the regular pencil. Oh, that's interesting. Clark Reiner says, it sounds exciting. I have the Albrecht Dürer pencils and need to get to creating with them. Yeah, we'll have one thing where you guys help me pick out what we're going to do, and then we'll do that with watercolor. I'm excited. That'll be fun. Nick said, flannel isn't out of fashion in the North Pole. In fact, it's a vital part of the ensemble. Yeah, I'm not sure flannel really goes out of fashion for most people. Most of us are just like, I'm not one, I don't buy stuff, like if it's trendy, like you'll go through times where everything being asymmetrical is trendy. I know that's trendy. I'm not wasting my money on something that is not going to, I'm not going to wear all the time. I'm not saying it's in style all the time, but that I wouldn't feel comfortable wearing anytime. But then again, I'm not one who cares that much. Like, I have clothes I like. So I like clothes. I like new clothes. I like shoes, but I also don't care about what's in fashion. I'm one who more goes by, I think that this is somewhat flattering on me, more so that, like, I won't buy a style because it's trendy. Like right now, the freaking crop tops. Most people cannot pull that off. I'm going to get myself in trouble, so I can't finish that statement. Most people cannot pull that off, and it is just, I hate the crop top phase. Like, I am so looking forward to that going. I want long shirts, so it makes it hard for me to find stuff. I like things that are long, so if I bend over, no one's seeing my gut, no one's seeing crack, no one's seeing anything. I know, I'm old and boring, but I'm watching these girls wear things, and it's like, sweetie, that was not made for you. There are things that would be so cute and so flattering on your body type, and that is not it. I hate these cuts, or like the jeans that come up super high. I guess that's what you wear with a crop top. I don't care what you're for. I don't like those. I don't think they look cute on most people. Like, I'm more for shopping for what works for a specific body type than what works in a magazine on that. It doesn't even work on any body type, some of these. Yeah, so I'm not your normal, I guess, clothes person on that. I don't go for what's in style so much as what works at any given, like, for any given body type. I mean, I see these ads for these girls, and it's like, that is the most unflattering thing I've ever seen, and you put her in a different cut and she would look adorable. Like, there's no reason to make her look like, why is that happening? Let's see. Sam said, is Ross, Walmart, and TJ Maxx the trio brothers everyone should avoid? No, I wouldn't even say anyone should avoid it. Like, TJ Maxx I like, and Ross I don't. It's just I never find anything in there anymore, and it smells funky. And I'm not certain you're not going to get bed bugs in there. But yeah, Walmart I avoid. Walmart and Ross for me I avoid. Sometimes though, I know I can find something at Ross that I just can't find other places. There's one clothing item that I usually will get there because the price is just better for the same brand that I like, and like it just works for me. But TJ Maxx I wouldn't avoid. I like TJ Maxx. Yeah, Nick says, I find that comfort is trendy. Ali said, I think that Derwent should improve their watercolor pencils, such as the wood casing is not strong enough. The dissolvability needs to improve because the pencil lines show. It depends on the paper. So I know this is not going to be a popular opinion. I would say the formula of the Derwent watercolor pencils I kind of like better than the other pencils. They're very watercolor-like. However, they're also the least light fast, so you've got some give and take there, but they're also the least expensive. Again, give and take. So whereas like the Polychroma, the Faber-Castell brand, the pigmentation on some of those, I just couldn't get the pigment where I wanted it to be. Like, it just wasn't strong enough, but it was a true watercolor. And they're the most light fast. So, everything has give and take, but I actually personally like the formula of, I know what you mean by some of them. Some of the colors don't dissolve as well, so that is certainly something that could be improved on, but I liked the Derwent ones a lot, which surprised me. I thought that, I thought it was going to be kind of like a lower quality, like it wouldn't have as much pigment, and that really wasn't what I found. So I was just surprised. Maybe because I went into it expecting less from, I don't know why I expected that less, but they were, you know why? Because when I first tried them, it was before Derwent really had good colored pencils. Turns out, Derwent's been making some pretty good products. So back then, I was comparing it thinking, oh, it's going to be like Color Soft, which I do not like at all. They don't work for my techniques at all. So I was expecting something more like that. So maybe that's why I wasn't expecting as much. And sometimes when you're not expecting as much from a product, and it's easier to like it, if that makes sense, because you're like, wow, I'm happily surprised at the quality of this. Versus if you're expecting to be super amazing and they don't live up to that, that can be like, let's go with Holbein. Holbein was supposed to be best of the best. Everyone says they're the best, and I'm like, not the worst, but also I don't know, maybe because my expectations were higher. Well, the cost definitely made my expectations higher. That was a thing. But, I wonder how much of that, like, how many times have you gone to a movie that everyone raved about and you went and you're like, oh, this is stupid. But then you'll go to a movie that no one's seen yet and you're like, wow, I really like it. And then everyone's like, I hate this. So I think your expectation sometimes, if it's not very high, if you weren't expecting a lot, you might like it a little better. So that might be the case for me with the Derwent. I was expecting to feel about the Derwent watercolor pencils closer to what I felt. I don't know a lot. Like, I like Inktense, so why didn't I think they'd be more like that? But I, for some reason, was just thinking, oh, I'm not going to like them as much. And so when I did like them, it was like a bigger, how do I word that? A bigger, it felt like more than it might have been if I had expected more to begin with, I guess. George Pencil Art said, I never understood the holes in jeans thing. Like, I'm not buying that. It already has holes. I'm right there with you. Now, if it has holes, maybe I'll still wear it. If it's like in the knees, like whatever. But I'm not paying money for it to start that way. I'm so with you on that. Let's see. Sarah said, I'm happy with my body, but I'll probably never intentionally show my stomach in public again, possibly with the exception of the beach or the pool. Yeah, and part of it, you know, we're adults now, and so it's a little bit, I don't know, I just always think it's a little weird. I mean, people can wear what they want, and then I get to judge them, and I do enjoy people watching and kind of giggling at like, oh, sweetie, you don't, the mirrors are $10. You can get a full mirror for $10. You should get that. So yeah, I do enjoy the people watching aspect of choices people make. That can be fun. So I guess there's that. So that's not the pencil I thought I had. I'm a jerk. But yeah, I'm definitely at my age will not be wearing crop tops and stuff like that. Dee said, I'm not a normal clothes person either. I know I have the right look when other people tell me I dress weird. I like weird too. I like more of like the boho style. I really like the colors, and I like, you know, one of my favorite designs. I am jealous of you ladies over in India. You have some of the and this I don't know if it's a regional thing in different areas, but when they I'll see the ladies wearing the full, like it drapes over a shoulder and comes down, and then the pants kind of match their. I love your clothes. They are so gorgeous, and the colors, oh my gosh. I think you in India have some of my favorite stuff. But I like that. I like the boho stuff. I really like that. Like, I like those looks. Let's see. Nick, here's another one that doesn't work on anybody. Metallic, I don't know what that is. Susan said, I discovered if you keep clothes long enough, they come back in fashion. Yeah, me too. I just wear them the whole time, either way. I don't care. Metallic lame and spandex leggings too. I'm saying lame. What is? I don't even know what that is. Sam said, your thoughts on Party City and why they exist? My husband actually used to work there. Fun story about Party City. So he worked there. One of their managers had been skimming the till and figured out how to make it look like the other managers were doing it. So they decided Matt was the one who was doing. Matt wasn't the one who was like, Matt would not do that. They knew, and Matt knew which manager it was. He goes, I see how that's happening. Like after it happened, he goes, wasn't paying attention at the time, but I see how that was happening. And later on, so they were going to fire. I think they did fire him, and I don't remember if they had. I don't think they had a union then. But he threatened them because they threatened him with legal action for the theft. And he's like, you prove it. Because he didn't take anything. He's like, there's cameras on stuff. You can prove who did this easily. He knew it was the one. He ended up getting back into working he was a machinist at the time or before that. So he went, like, just changed jobs. But they figured it out and he could have had his job back. But at that point, he's like, yeah, I'll go somewhere better. If you guys are letting that stuff happening and then you're like, they had already fired him when they found out it wasn't him. So it was like, or proved that it wasn't. And yeah, that one, I don't remember all the details, but that one was kind of crazy. But Party City, I mean, they have a bigger selection of party favors. I have a weird thing with party stuff that people decorate with parties. If it's not being used, like I get, like Christmas decor, you're going to use the same stuff every year. I get that. I don't get the wastefulness of party decor. Like my neighborhood group, someone's always posting their balloons that are for sale, or not for sale, they're giving away, they're used for my 30th party, or these big signs now that are advertised all the time. It takes up someone's entire front yard of this like weird plastic words of congratulations Henry for graduating whatever, and it takes up the whole yard. One, I don't understand the point. Like, oh my god, attention whore. The other thing I don't understand on that is the wastefulness that we go through on some of this stuff. And in Party City, I certainly feel that way. Like I get for Halloween, but I don't understand some of the wasteful like party decor that we use, the one-time like single-use stuff. I don't totally understand why we do some of the stuff we do, and that would certainly be one where I'm like, that's a lot of plastic in somebody's yard just to let everyone know, someone that we don't know, that we don't really care about. I mean, I don't want anything bad to happen to the kid, but also I don't care that he graduated because I don't know him. But you need to announce to the whole neighborhood by taking up your entire yard with waste that is going to be used for a week and then in the trash. And it's big. I mean, we're talking big. I don't get some of the stuff like that. So I don't know, maybe you guys can explain it to me. I feel like there's better, like I like the way that we used to, like you look back in throughout history, how did we used to decorate? And I know that that's not practical now in many areas, up in the North Pole, Nick can do this, but they used to, like for wreaths, it was a natural wreath, it was a pine wreath, it was whatever, like fall leaves and stuff that they used to put together these displays for the holidays. It was all natural stuff that was biodegradable, and now we're like, let me make this huge plastic Christmas. I have one. I mean, I'm going to reuse the same one year after year, so it's not just getting a one-time only thing, but still, it's like, man, we've definitely gotten weird the way we celebrate one-time events with, I don't know, it just seems really, really wasteful. Large and wasteful. Let's see. Nick said, lame, I don't know, is really shiny mirror-like fabric, usually gold, silver, or copper, and usually in a spandex application. Oh, I've seen that. I want to say I'm not a fan, but I am absolutely a fan in the judgy side of it, because people watching is fun when, that's one of the things I think makes people watching fun. It's one of the few reasons I had to go into public, have fun. Let's see, or one of the things that makes it fun. Zia said, I'm currently making a painting of a peacock. Any advice on how I should achieve the most iridescent color of feathers? I struggle with it so badly. Thanks and advice. Oh, I've got you on this one. Contrast. So super dark, super light lights, and you're also going to be mixing blues that are closer to purple on the color wheel with these light blues that are closer to green on the color wheel. So that combination is super high contrast. Dark's really dark, right up against the light's really light. That's what's going to make something have that almost iridescent metallic look. So that should help you. Yeah, I had an actual answer that didn't take me an hour to share. Zay said, I just turned 30 last year, and it's like old and grumpy hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm becoming such a prude about fashion and everything overnight after my reckless 20s. Yep. Mine was more my teenage years. I wore the crop tops. And I did not, in my teenage years, did not have the figure for it, let me tell you, because I went through a stage. But, yes, I get that too, because I wore some things where I'm like, my shorts were so short, I'm like, I can't imagine wearing that. I don't know why my mom didn't kill me. Let's see. Karina said, good morning, just woke up at 3:30. I'll go make coffee and try to catch up on what you're talking about. Welcome. Coffee, pumpkin spice. Whoops, come back. Karina, oh, got that one. Olga said, metallic, I can't say that. Pretend you're French for the lame pronunciation. Is that it? That's how I would pretend I'm French. Lame. Is that how you say it? I don't know. In that tone of voice. I'm a dork. It's metallic thread fabric. Looks like you are wearing transparent, non-wrinkly aluminum foil. Sam said, are there weddings decorated by Party City? I have no, probably. Jason said, at Petco, they did that to the manager and took him away in cuffs and led him away in cuffs, but later they found out it was the assistant manager. Then the manager would not come back. Funny thing, I worked at Petco. I had that happen too. So I worked there, and there were 3 people involved in this situation. Me, just because I was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. A girl named Mika, and Mika hated me. So Mika used to be in charge of the bird department, but she wasn't doing a good job. Horribly lazy woman, and just assumed that's what I do. I'm always going to do this. Oh, her attitude! I could not stand this woman. I couldn't stand her because she hated me. But I understand, like as an adult looking, or an older adult, I get now why I took over her job. They got rid of her, brought me in to fix what she did. I mean, that bird department was a disaster. So anyway, Mika hated me, and very gruff, like very, very, like I feel like she grew up in a barn. This lady was rough. And then the other girl who worked there, what was her name? It's probably better. I don't remember. I can't remember her name. I want to say Tracy. We're going to call her Tracy, but I don't remember if that was actually her name. So Tracy was the assistant manager. Mika just worked the floor, and then I was in charge of the bird department. But everyone sometimes had to run the registers. So with me, because I wasn't a manager, like I was a manager, I guess, or department, whatever, ran the department. It wouldn't be a manager. I just was in charge of the bird department. So I didn't need keys to the safe. I didn't have to count out. I didn't want to deal with that stuff because I was dealing with the bird department. And when you would have too much money, you would do a drop, and it was like under the counter in the front. You would just put it in an envelope with the amount, and you would drop it in the thing. So I think Mika at some point ended up being not a manager, but kind of like, she had keys for some reason. Like, she would be able to take it out and put it, I don't remember the details, but she had access to that money. And then Tracy was the manager that night. She wasn't the store manager. She, I think, was also a lead. So they had done we didn't even know the investigation was going on. I didn't know that there was money missing. They finally come in, and and this one actually pissed me off, because their loss prevention people came in, and they were treating me like I was a criminal. And I'm like, I did nothing wrong. You don't get to treat me that way. And I'm scared. I was young at the time. I was like 20 years old. So I'm like, why are they acting like I've done something wrong? The way that they were questioning me, and it's like, I can complain about a lot about Petco, but that one really did piss me off. But anyway, turned out, like, through all of this, they were blaming the girl who stole it. Tracy was, and again, I don't remember if her name was Tracy. She was claiming that Mika, because Mika hated me, stole my drop. My drop was the one that was missing. It was like $500. And so they thought Mika did it because she hated me, and she was trying to set me up, and Mika had money problems. So I lived with my parents at the time, so they didn't really question me. They thought it would be. So they were, this girl had set her up, and it turned out they were bringing in loss prevention people undercover, and they would intentionally overpay, give too much. So you take me, I'm stupidly honest. So I am giving back the money. Like, if you overpay me, I'm giving that back. She not only was not giving the money back, she was shortchanging people on a regular basis, 5 here to, like, ongoing. Or I guess it was really bad. It had been going on for some time before they figured it out. So somebody had complained, and then that's where they started investigating it. So anyway, it turned out it was this girl. She got fired, and she ended up getting a job as a manager at Best Buy. I'm like, how did that even, like, that just got worse. I saw her there a few months later, and I'm just like, how in the world I'm guessing she didn't tell Best Buy the whole, like, why she was fired. It was kind of, yeah, that was my Petco story there. I mean, and me and Mika were still working there, and we actually got along a little bit better after we started getting along a bit better. I think she finally gave up on the whole, realized it wasn't my fault that she lost her job. Of course, she wasn't going to blame herself for being, God, this woman was lazy. You could not get her to work. I don't know why she got a job at all at that point. But yeah, I guess they did come and arrest her, and it was, I don't know how much money she had stolen by the time they figured it out. Okay, Michael said, question, who do you look up to as an artist? Oh gosh, this comes up so often, and I don't remember people's names, so it's very hard. I mean, I love Jason Morgan's work, obviously. I love Lena Danya's work. Like, if we're talking about current people, I want to say Michael Vargas. It's not Michael Vargas. It's, you guys always remind me because I can never remember. There's a few. I don't pay that much attention to other artists, in all honesty, and I don't remember names, so it's never a question I can really answer well. What is his name? Oh, I can't remember. Let's see. Sam said, grew up in a barn. This lady was rough. I'm laughing so hard. Does this apply to the people of Walmart? Yeah. Oh, she probably, yes, I think she's at Walmart a lot. I would say absolutely. Wearing the clothes that do not cover her rear. There's a few people when I worked at that Petco I would like to know what happened to, because they were like such train wrecks. Like, how did their life turn out? Because that was, well over 20 years ago. So it makes you wonder how things worked out for them. That store. Not all the stores. Some of the stores I worked at had great employees, great everything, and some of them, like, it was an interesting group. With that specific one. Some of the other Petcos I worked at were actually kind of fun. So I worked at a couple of locations. This one was closest to my house, which is why I wanted to work there, but it was not. Like, that was the one with the employees with the issues. I was pretty happy to hear, though, that Petco closed down, because they deserved it. That one got closed down. Not all of the Petcos, obviously. Petco went through a thing. I've told you guys this before. I was working at a place called Super Pets. And this was the most awesome pet store. It had, like, you had actual specialists, like, in multiple specialists in each department. So many people who were bird experts. Many people, you only worked your department you were an expert on. So I was birds and occasionally helped out with dogs. but they had enough people in the dog section, so like dog food and such. But birds were my thing. So you had people that worked in just the reptiles. You had people who worked in just the fish. Petco, you kind of have to do everything. So, because you don't have as many employees there at any given time. But this store was huge. Petco came in. They had been trying to buy them out for a while. And they didn't want to buy them out as in they wanted to like keep it a cool store. They bought them out so that they could shut them down. And this is what Petco did. This is how Petco took over like in the 90s. I want to say they started this kind of more of the late 80s, but really the 90s. They would go around buying up. They started small. Petco's used to be really tiny. They would, it was cool when it was tiny, but they would buy out another pet store, shut it down, and then they put up their craps. Like Petco is limited on what they carried, whereas ours was, it had more specialty items. It had a whole book department. Like it was such a cool store. And books probably wouldn't be as useful now with everyone in the smartphones and the internet, but that wasn't a thing back then. This store was so cool. We had a shark tank. We had actual experts with saltwater. Like the guy who ran our saltwater department was a marine biologist. Like it was such a cool store, and Petco did their dirty business, and they went around buying them and then shutting them down. Now, if these businesses wanted to sell to Petco, that's their business. That's fine. In this case, though, I know because we saw firsthand what they did. I keep saying firsthand. How many times can I say that? They came in and told the owners, if you do not sell to us, we're going to drop the cost of our dog food to a point where you can't compete. We will put you out of business. We will drop the price of everything. No one will shop here anymore. And they kept threatening them and threatening them and threatening them. And they opened a store down the street, and that's what they did. And while it wasn't hurting our business yet, the owners finally were like, okay, we can't go farther with this. Like, what are we going to do? They're going to shut us down. So yeah, they gave the people who own Super Pets finally gave in and sold to them because they figured it was better to make some money than to lose everything, which sucked. And I mean, okay, I don't know. It was dirty. I just don't like how dirty that was. Buying out a business that wants to sell, fine, whatever. This was not the case. They did not want to sell. Alicia said, I used to ask my kids when they were little, were you born in a barn? Elizabeth said, how long did it take to learn digital art? I'd say within 4 drawings, I kind of had the hang of it and the layering, but I'm still learning. Well, I'm still learning all mediums. We're all always still learning all mediums, but within 4 drawings, I started feeling comfortable enough to understand like the layering process, and then just kept getting better from there. But I would say 4 solid, like serious attempts of really bad stuff before it started to look remotely usable, and then within a few more pieces I was doing commissioned pet portraits. Wade's on 2 beds. Yeah, he's got one stacked on the other. His head is not in that bed at all. I don't know. He's got 2 beds, but he only has half his body on a bed. Let's see. Elizabeth said, loving your shark picture. Thank you. What do you think of PetSmart? PetSmart's no better than Petco. It's all the same thing. And PetSmart, they own that, what is it, Banfield, I believe is what Petfield. I would never, ever, ever take the animal to a Banfield vet ever again. They're the ones who almost killed my Jessie, one of the ones. I've had the 2 experiences I had with Banfield. One of them, and by the way, I don't think PetSmart is any better than Petco as far as how they bought things out. I don't know it firsthand like I did in this case, but I'm sure it's the same. Anyway, Banfield, their vets are essentially, they're like substitute teachers. They're not vets who are invested in that. They don't care. And their technicians, they have a real high turnover rate. So the amount of people I've known of who took their dog in for vaccines and the dog ended up with a broken leg because somebody took it into the back and had it on the table and wasn't restraining it properly. Like, it is ridiculous how common that sort of thing, like really bad malpractice is what it should be. But yeah, no, that the fact that PetSmart owns them, I hate. But I mean, I'll shop there if I need something really quick. I don't buy dog food or anything like that there. It's more of a, okay, I need something. I need a bowl for the frogs really fast. But I wish we had more small, like the small, more independent pet stores, like what PetSmart or Super Pets, the one I worked at, was before Petco bought them. Let's see. Jason said, I started at a new grocery store, and when the holidays came, there was a lot, the register locked at a large amount, but the register came up short. They figured out I didn't steal money. That's so annoying when stuff like that happens, and I find it to be extra annoying considering, like, I'm stupidly honest with stuff. Like, example, My Sarah snails that I got from Algae Barn, they came a day late. FedEx got held up. We're having problems with that. Came a day late. They were all like upside down, fuzzy bodies, dead in the jar. And I'm like, so I contacted Algae Barn. They're replacing them. Now, I would have already had them replace the shipping cost anyway because I paid for 2-day shipping. FedEx didn't deliver. We don't pay FedEx. Like, refund me, and then FedEx will refund them for that. So that's just normal policy. But, and really shipping costs more than the snails. The cost of the snails isn't that bad. I put these snails in a little container, and they all slowly, over the course of the rest of the day, came back to life. Like, they weren't obviously completely dead. I don't know why they were fuzzing up. But if they end up living, then I'm going to contact Algae Barn because they're replacing them. Well, let me pay you for these ones too then. But I don't think they're I think that they have too hard of a shipping thing. But I mean, I'm honest in that, like, even though it's sorted, I will still go back and contact them and be like, hey, like, the other day I had to buy some combs, like little cheapy 99-cent combs. And it was in the cart, and we did the self-ringing out at a grocery store, and Matt missed it. The combs, like, they blended in with the bottom of the basket. He just didn't see it. And so we get out to the thing, and they're 99 cents. We could have just left. And I'm like, hell no, I'm walking my butt back in there and paying for these 99-cent combs because that's stealing. We were, in the parking lot when we found them. I'm really, really honest. And so the idea of being accused of it, and I get where they would question something or, like, they're not sure because how would they know? I get looking into it. Just don't be rude to me about it because that's the part that made me mad about Petco's. And especially with Petco's, in their case, they had already known. I guess by the time they interviewed me, they already knew it was that other girl that was doing it. But no, they decided they were going to be all tough guys. Like, look how rude, like, bad cop is what they were. It was a weird flex. Dee said, got a rescue dog before I knew better. I took her to Petco. Worst grooming, hacked weird too close in areas right around her face, and she became afraid of nail trims after. Ugh. Petco's grooming is hit or miss. I've known of people who work there who were excellent groomers, but overall, yeah, no, I wouldn't. That would not be my first choice, that's for sure. Like, sometimes you get an employee who really does know their stuff, but just the way that Petco runs their grooming, I wouldn't take a dog there. Oh my gosh, I'm actually almost done with her. And so the next week we'll just be finishing. It'll be final details on everything. And next week we'll be done. Oh my God, it'll be done. I'm so over this piece. I like it. I'm really happy with how it's come out, but it is just, I don't want to spend this long on another one. Like, if I did it on my own, not on a live stream, it'd be done within a couple of weeks. But the fact that we just dragged this on for 17 weeks is like, I just don't want to look at it anymore. I don't think you guys want to look at it anymore. Shadows. That is what I was doing. I need purple. Or nightshade. So let's start pulling some of these deeper into shadow. I don't even know what I've got going on over here with these toes. Whatever, good enough. Oh, that needs to be in shadow though. There's a big part of the problem. So now I'm starting to burnish a bit on these really dark areas. I love with working on sanded paper, if you have something where you're like, oh, that line's bad, you just go right back over it. It's no problem to fix versus like hot press watercolor paper. Yeah, that's a little bit more of a challenge. Okay, so let's start doing some of the frilly stuff on that. We're almost done for the day anyway. And then I get to go figure out how I want to tackle these worms. I think super glue is in my future. Tomorrow's my normal tank maintenance, so that may be tomorrow. But I may super glue some today. Dee said, have done that in the past with paintings. This was a great idea. Weeks later, what the hell was I thinking? Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just, you hit a point where it's like, this is taking too long. I'm not even having fun anymore. It's just taking too long. I just need to be done with it. It wouldn't have been so bad. Let me zoom this back out. It wouldn't have been so bad had, I done it on my own. I wouldn't have put so long into it, but because I only did this during these live streams, this is just too big of a project for that. Let's do this so you can see everything a bit more. Okay. Cat Tech said, have a good weekend. Thank you. Alicia said, I saw your motivational video yesterday and love that you got your hubby to participate. I need to get him to talk for me because I apparently can't do that. Natalie said, I have multiplying tank disease. I'm going to get another to start cycling this morning for some crystal bee shrimp. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Yeah, I've got parasites in mine that I'm dealing with. Like, the fish parasites I think were good. And this is the thing with mine having, it's these worms, they're called, what did I say they were? I looked them up. Digitate hydroids. You want to look that up, you can see what they are. But these little wormy, stringy guys that are stinging the crap out of it, and they're long, they will stretch out far. So if they're stinging anything near it, that's an issue. But I can at least super glue the ones that are close to coral. So I at least make coral more comfortable. That's not going to eradicate it from the tank. I'm going to look into the urchin thing, see how that goes. There's some stuff, some natural things you can do. There's no medication that really works. The medication that does work is not really reef safe at all. So, yeah. That was like, I knew you're always dealing with something in a tank. That one was not one I thought I saw coming. I've never dealt with those before. And they may have been in the tank before. The numbers just weren't as high. But I've been dosing phytoplankton so high that I think is what they're feeding off of. I have just multiplied them by my feed. So there's a good chance by me dropping back on that and not doing that, that is probably going to take care of some of the numbers. They'll be there still, but not as many. So if I can at least reduce it by lowering my feeding there. So I need to go to my algae barn thing and put my orders, because I get, I've been dosing a lot. So I need to put my auto shipment on hold. Thank you, Michael. Natalie said, I have Hydra 2 in my big shrimp tank, almost over that issue. Is yours a saltwater or you're freshwater though, aren't you? Nick, they're in the rocks, they're in the sand, they're on snail shells. They're everywhere. Like, I'll get photos for you. Everywhere. Actually, the lights are kicking on right now, so you won't notice it as much. Tonight when the lights go off at like 11, I'll get a photo of it. And every freaking where in that nano tank. They're in the big one too, just not as bad. Not as bad. They kind of attach, they'll go into the rocks, they'll recede. So that's going to be a challenge. So it's like trying to get the super glue to keep him so he can't come back out, and that would kill him off. My other thing is to take tweezers and just rip them out. It'll injure them. They can still live through that is the downside. So we'll see. Oh, you had to starve your tank to get rid of them too. Yeah, I think that is probably, and it makes total sense. Like when I look at how much I've been dosing Fido, I absolutely it's not one of those when I was reading about them, it wasn't like, well, how did this happen? It was like, oh, I know exactly how this happened. So kind of like bristleworms. And bristleworms aren't really bad. They're a good cleanup crew. With bristleworms, if you've got too many bristleworms, you're overfeeding. So back off on the feeding and the population will balance itself out. So let's see. Sam said, I don't know why I always felt like most of America was like Little House on the Prairie when I was a preteen. Yeah, kind of like I thought that's how Texas was. Texas is not that different than California the way it looks. That's funny though. Yeah, we always have those stereotypes of what we think different places are like. Like I really thought that I would not like Texas because I thought it was going to be all, well, maybe not kind of Little House on the Prairie depending on which episodes, but where it was like more desert than anything else. No, we're green. Well, except for winter. Winters are ugly here, but we've got great. I don't like that one. I'm going to blend you out. Actually, I'm going to erase some of you. I'm looking at my reference photo, and it is kind of like that, but I do not like that. That did not have a good flow. We'll just cover that up. Natalie said, yeah, I was feeding the powdered food for my baby shrimp when they popped up. That makes sense, because that was one of the things they said, too, like reef raids and stuff, those powders will feed them. And I was, because I had the dinoflagellates, however you say it, I had dinos. for a bit. And one of the ways that you can counter that is by overfeeding and feed extra with the coral food. That was one I was using too, you know, feeding extra for that. So I absolutely know how this happened. I have to back off on coral food, which sucks. I just got a new coral food, and I'm like, yeah, I think I'm not going to try that for a bit. It doesn't expire for months, so it's fine. It's got a good shelf life. I think that one had the good shelf life, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Dark Fine Art said, what a difference in the frog's day. Looks amazing. Thank you. Yeah, she's actually, like, she's getting there. She had a lot of work she needed. Little things now. Now it's just kind of, there's so much little stuff that we're going to come back through and adjust. So we're at 3 p.m. Check out our moderators' channels. My God, why can I not remember, Clark Fine Art, to put your channel in the video description? Remind me, like, Tuesday, because that's when I make the next live streams. Anyway, check out Nick and Natalie. Joseph's not here today because he's got real life responsibilities. Unacceptable, but he also runs our all our groups and does the group challenges. So not the Patreon ones, the public ones. So anyway, check out his channel too. But the lists are all in the video description. Leisha said, I've started keeping my fish food in the fridge. Well, I feed frozen food, so I have to do that anyway. But one person said to rinse the food, and I've not been doing that, so that may start happening. Anyway, I think that's it. Check out moderator channel, tell them thank you. My next edited video will be on Tuesday, which is also late Tuesday night is when the Patreon will be, which is probably going to be that Panda and Charcoal. I think it's going to be this week's video there. I'm excited about that. I'm going to start him tonight. I'll be posting updates over on Patreon. No, well, you'll see the finished one there, but on MeWe. Follow me on MeWe. Link is in the video description. It's like Facebook. When Facebook was good, like when you follow someone, you see everything they post. Not what Facebook decides you're allowed to see, depending on whether or not they paid to promote the post. So, there we go. Will I make prints of this? Yes, I will. Once it's all done, I absolutely will. Bye, Shana. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me, and that's it. Where's my buttons? Thank you for putting up with the fuzz. Hopefully that'll be gone by next week. Bye.